Hey guys, so yesterday we talked about simple interest. We said that the formula was I equals PRT. And we realized that I equals PRT is interest equals principal times rate times time. And those are the three pieces of information that the problem is always going to give us. What I want to focus on today, however, is this T right here. The T is time. And yesterday in your book, I specifically said T is the period of loan always given in years. But what if it's not given in years? What if it is instead given as months? That is what we're talking about today on page 289 to 90. It says interest by months. If an annual income interest rate is given, time in the simple interest formula must be expressed in years. Assume that interest rate is always going to be expressed in years unless otherwise stated. So what do I do if I am given the process of months? Well, let's have an example problem here. It says Mr. Nichols borrowed $3,000 at 15% rate of interest for 3 months. So I'm going to fill in. I need to figure out my interest equals principal. The principal is $3,000. Rate, we have 15%, which is going to be 0.15. And then time. This is the part that we're a little confused on now. I have 3 months, and I was told that I always have to list it as years. Well, how many months are in a year? Hopefully you should have answered that quickly. There are 12 months in 1 year, and I'm being given 3 of them. So I have 2 options here. I can either list my time as 3 over 12, or if you look at the fraction and you're super smart, you know that 3 over 12 can be reduced down to 1/4. Either of those options are going to be placed in here. I'm going to go ahead and go with 3/4 just so not 3/4. I'm going to go with 3/12 just so you can see the actual discrepancies between months and year. But now all we have to do is solve the problem as normal. 3,000 times 0.15. We can solve that easily. Fill in all of those zeros. 5 times 3 is 15. Add a 0, fill in all the others. And 1 times 3 is 3. Add it all up. We get 45,000, but we have 2 decimal places. 1, 2. So we get $450. Now I need to figure out what 450 times 3 over 12 is. Let's see here. 450 times 3 over 12. There's a couple of options to do this, but I think what you guys have grown most accustomed to is probably going to be 450 over 1 times 3 over 12. When I put 450 over 1, that just means that I have 450 whole, so it doesn't actually change the value of the number at all. Once I do that, now I can just multiply as normal. Or there's another option you can do that I think you may find to be a little bit easier. Remember I said 3/12 or 1/4 is going to be options for those. Either way, I can change that fraction into a decimal. 3 over 12 equals 1 over 4, which as a decimal equals 0.25. So instead of doing this fraction thing, which you're more than welcome to do if you're more comfortable with, but I think you'll find to be a little easier, we can multiply 450 by 0.25. The reason I feel even more comfortable with it is because you're already multiplying the number by a decimal. So I know that you guys are capable of doing so. So I have $450 times 0.25. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 plus 2 is 22. Add my 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry my 1. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Add it all up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. And 2 plus 9 is 11. So I have 11,250, but 1, 2 decimal places. Got to move that over. So I'm being left with 112.50. This is in dollars, and that is my interest. But remember that the interest is not going to be my answer. The interest then needs to be added to the original rate. Principal. The original principal that Mr. Nichols borrowed was $3,000. So I have 3,000. This is going to be dollars, so I'll go ahead and use this to reference it. And my interest is $112.50. 112.50. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in with some zeros. It's not going to change the value of this at all, but it is going to help me recognize what the problem actually is going to be. Then I just add it all up. 0 plus 0, that's going to be 5. Decimal place stays the same. 2, we have 1, 1, and 3. So my answer is $3,112.50. So all of this to say, we're going to be doing the exact same kind of problems that we did yesterday, but we're now referencing interest by months. The way we do that is taking the amount of months and putting it over 12 and presenting it as a fraction or a decimal, because we always need to reference it as a form of year. So let's work on 1 through 7 today. If you guys are too loud or anything, then your sub can extend that to be the full amount of pages. But we're almost done with this area. I'll be back in just a few days, and I look forward to reviewing all of it with you guys.